So, welcome to our next guest in conversation with Miss Madhavi Gaddam. She is the first AMI auxiliary elementary trainer in India, and she's done her bachelor's in education, and then she went on to do her training in the Montessori system from the primary, elementary, and adolescents from Cleveland, USA, and she's also running her own school, the Medha Montessori School, which is now opened her second branch as well. So one is in Masiptank and one is in Moinabad. Congratulations, Madhavi, for being able to be one of those pioneers in India to bring the adolescent and the complete Montessori education to India.
Thank you, Purva.
Yeah. So I think my first thing that I'd like to know is what made you choose the Montessori education out of so many other fields that must have been there for you as well as options.
Yeah, I never thought of doing this program because I have never knew about this. When I was searching for a school, when my daughter was 2 year old, I was exploring different schools and I found out one such methodology is existing, and why not? So I joined my daughter 17 years back into a Montessori school, and I went and joined to do this program and still continuing at the different levels though, but yeah, still studying about.
Awesome. So
If
you
not my
discovered
if
this.
not for my daughter, yeah, if not for my daughter, I would not have come across. I never heard about this system until I was exploring for different schools to join my daughter. So I am blessed that I found out this, and that day I have fallen in love with this methodology, and I'm still continuing with that.
Awesome. How life just brings us things on a plate, sometimes. Amazing. So tell me, what is the most fascinating thing about this Montessori system that keeps you so much in grip that you have actually went on to pursuing it, one after the other, like all the levels and everything, and bringing so much to India? I mean, actually, that is incredible.
Actually, this philosophy connects to the spirit. Once if your spirit is connected to something, you can never get distracted or deviated. So maybe that's the reason. And I have seen in my experience children performing much better, not only intellectual levels, but also at social, moral, spiritual levels. They are so different. So that makes me work more and more to see more and more from children. So it's like, they are going hand in hand, my work and my love for this methodology, both. So
Right,
children manifest the results, and the result will boost me to take up another thing to foster them.
right. So can you share a little about the core belief systems of the Maria Montessori education system? Like every system has its own, set of belief systems. Of course, it's tough to just talk about it in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I know, but in a nutshell, the essence of the system.
Yeah. Actually, Maria Montessori is a doctor, first doctor, lady doctor from Italy, and she got to work with children below 6 year olds. And she started observing these children because her mind is so like a scientific mind. She started observing, and she observed children from different countries and continents as well. So she found out that these children exhibit certain growth patterns, and we have to, if we can support these children uh, in during those during that time, matching with that pattern, then the children can unfold their potentialities much better way. So that is the core thing in this methodology. She has told us the patterns of growth in children. Every 6 years she calls it as 4 planes. First 6 years she calls as first plane, and then 6 to 12 ages she calls as elementary ages, she calls second plane. Then adolescent age is third, and then 18 to 24 is fourth plane complete. So every aspect she has found in a different way. The children will be totally different from one plane to another, but every plane contributes to the other plane of development. If something went wrong in the first plane, then we can't expect the same thing in the second plane to support. If support system has started from the beginning, we can groom children really very well. That's what is the core principle. 4 planes of development should need some good environment, because other than environment, they can't get anything. I mean, from nowhere else. You can't reach their mind directly when they are in the first plane. So many activities are there for them to perform and then get some understanding. So initially, the first plane is called sensorial age. So all the material is given to them to do something and learn the stimulus in that. So it's groomed in that way, and we prepare the environment according to their growth patterns, and we support.
Right. So similarly, the elementary and the adolescent. So can you talk a little about the elementary and the adolescent? And like you just mentioned, the fourth plane is from 18 to 24. Yeah, so something about that as well.
Yes. So, first plane is totally sensorial plane, sensorial education. We call that education as sensorial education. Most of the activities are given to their senses, because we can't reach the child's mind directly through a paper, pencil like that. So we have to give them something to do with their hands. So by acting, by performing those activities, they learn. They'll get to know. They'll get to understand about things in this world. So world we can connect the world sensorially to the children. And then when they come into the second plane, that plane of development is called as intellectual development. Here we connect them to the entire universe. Every subject is related. I mean, it is in this universe. So we don't we don't need to separate as subject wise here. Everything is given like a web of all the subjects together. So a teacher gives all the main keys of this universe to the children to learn better. So they develop intellectually also. And in third plane, they are a different kind of, they have different kind of mind. That is like, they are social explorers, plus they also have this empathy. They want to get identity of their own. So they need to get involved with activities that are connected with the society, and they also need to do those things by themselves to understand the society, because in the last plane it is economically child can become very independent. That is the time for university studies as well. So they can choose whatever they are interested into, and they can proceed further in their life. So all these developmental patterns should be supported with a proper approach. So this is about roughly about the 4 planes.
Right. So did you cover the last plane? Sensorial, intellectual,
Last
the
social,
18
and
to
last is the
24.
economical.
Okay,
Yeah,
economic.
economically they'll be, yeah, economically they become independent. They can choose their careers, and they can uh, proceed further. There we don't need to do much help, because there by then they know everything, and they can think about everything. They can discriminate. They can see all the aspects, like what is good, what is not good, everything they can figure it out for themselves, and they can move on with the life. So mostly we have to support children in these 3 planes, so that they'll be very independent there. We don't have any school which has from 18 to 24. Montessori had an idea to have this university also, but it couldn't happen. There's nothing.
Right.
But children will become uh, they become very independent, so they can get adapted to any any aspect which is their interest. They can get into arts or sciences or anything, whatever they are interested into, and then they can proceed the learning further. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned that Montessori system is very it just got onto your spirit. It has the spirit, and you feel that spiritually, emotionally, and physically. It's a very holistic, fulfilling system. So can you talk about a little about this? In your maybe just your own experience and how it has helped you in your life, or how you find it emotionally and spiritually also very uplifting, or um, revealing.
Yeah, actually, I was from a small town and I came to the city after my marriage. But I stayed at home. I was just like any other housewife. And when I had my first baby after 4 years, I I was checking for a school for her. Until then, I didn't know anything. I should say my journey was so different before that and after. So this training made me strong, made me so clear, gives me a moral support, because during that time I also lost my mother. So I was little like I was going my towards depression and all these things. So I was able to come back and with lot of energy, and day by day my confidence levels I can see myself. I mean, I didn't do anything much, but because I have got connected spiritually, maybe that's why. So whenever I read these Montessori books, they give me some idea or some what should I say? They inspire me to do something. So it's because of that maybe. So it really made me a person with confidence. My self confidence have grown a lot step by step though, but I became so clear and I know what I'm doing, why I'm doing, how I should do that. So I'm so clear with my thoughts because of Montessori training.
Wow. Because normally, we meet educationists who who are very good with their concepts. Like very few people will really talk about the spiritual and the emotional aspect of education systems, especially. I don't want to criticize any education system, yeah, but people are more conceptual when it comes to education in particular. But very few people will really emphasize on the energy and the spiritual parts of their system. So that's really
Yes.
it's like a revelation to the audience and to me as well. So yeah, thank you for bringing light to that. uh, I was wondering, you can talk a little about your experience with the children whom you work with. What is the difference that you find in, a set of children whom you have worked with, and what is the difference you see in them, and how it helps the EQ of children? Because see, IQ is something I'm sure that we all, of course, EQ and IQ is something that we all inherit, but the way the education system develops it, enhances those abilities in a child, is a lot to do with the teachers and the environment that we create for the children in the school. So can you talk a little about that, like your experience with
So
your children?
a very big question, but I'll try to tell in short. Actually, Montessori methodology. Through Montessori methodology, we can connect the nature to the child. We actually we want the children to notice the nature. That's why we talk about many stories about the sun, moon, earth, what is happening, even human beings. So we tell many stories to them so that they can get connected to that nature and the people, also to the society as well. So then what happens if they are making these connections with nature and people? Definitely intellectual knowledge, definitely they will gain, but apart of that they also see what is happening around them. They can put themselves in the center and they can start seeing. So we can see intellectual development because they will be very good at whatever, when you are recapping a lesson, they'll be telling very clearly what they have understood. So you can see that. And how we can see the manifestation of spirituality in them. Nobody need to tell them, go help. They will go, if they see something and if they think they can do that, nobody can say, I mean, nobody can initiate or no, I mean, sometimes for big works, yes, but usually if somebody is struggling, we don't even know that, but these children will get to know and they will go, they will offer help to those children by themselves. So these are, what is this? Everybody in I mean any other curriculum, whatever other methodologies, we don't see all these things because children are so busy reading writing, all these things, so they don't get enough time maybe to watch nature and understand others, and then they can feel that they can help, so they go help. So in that process, we can see these children evolving in those social and moral aspects. Intellectual aspects, definitely when you are doing a lesson, a teacher will definitely come to know, but these moral and social aspects are something which need to be groomed when children are very young, because we can't preach them, you be good like this, be good like that. We have to play role modeling, so we have to be very conscious. So all the teachers who deal with these children are trained because they have to understand how children are developing, so how they can support in that development. So I can see those manifestations intellectually. Intellectual manifestations you must have also noticed, because they are so different. We don't do lessons and all those things in a regular school methodologies, but still these children are very good at academics as also. But we can also see how they don't get scared to talk to anybody. They don't get scared to express on a topic. Whatever they know, they will tell it, and they will be very, very clear about it. For example, um, uh, one day we were in the park, and one child who was just like 6-year-old, he was saying, look, he was seeing at a millipede and he was saying, look, this is an insect. Look, here is an insect, something he was telling. And a 7.5 or 8-year-old comes and say, no, this is not an insect. Then this boy will ask, no, it is an insect. Then this elder one is saying, insect will have only 6 legs. But look how many legs it has. So he was able to share that knowledge joyfully, and he is explaining in detail. And a 7-year-old, not very not very old, but still they want to share their knowledge. They don't want to keep it themselves, because we don't give first rank, second rank, all these things, maybe because of that. And this is such an example, we can see all these developmental aspects happening in children. And if some children have pronunciation problems, sometimes, for example, a child cannot pronounce sh, they may say s, even when they are 6-year-old. One child was not able to pronounce sh, so he used to call sugar, Kishore uncle, like that. So another child used to sit and he used to give that uh, speech lesson therapy. It's not exactly what the speech therapist does, but the interest, the intention was so amazing. And one day when this child was able to say shh, Kishore uncle or sugar, and this fellow was so happy, and he was going to everybody and sharing, look, Nirav is able to say shh now. He was so happy, and he was, so all these things will prove to us like they are growing morally, socially, spiritually as well, because these things we can't see otherwise. If we don't, if that's why we live with the children, so we notice these things. It's very tough to explain each and everything, but with an example, I hope you understand that. So like that, if somebody while running or playing, if somebody gets hurt, another child will go to get first aid, and nobody needs to tell. They will do whatever is needed. So all these things shows, okay, empathy, development of empathy is there, development of sympathy is there, development of social moral aspects definitely manifest in these ways to us. Yeah,
Right.
they
Yeah,
become very
thank you for
mature.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes, I mean, it's very beautiful the way you brought it out. Yeah. Also, I think for some of our audience who may or may not know, Montessori is not like, the traditional schooling where children sit uh, in a classroom, like benches and, in a fixed place. It's not like that. It's more like a house of children where we have groups of children, age groups of children placed together. So the idea is that the younger and the elder children can learn from, the other variety age groups. So it's a very different concept. And so
Yes.
I'd also like to know a little bit about the adolescent system, where you have shared earlier that it's like a Gurukul system where we live with the children, the old and the young people are brought together. So exactly, just I mean maybe something like ancient India, how we believed in the Vanpras age group of people coming
Yeah.
and sharing their wisdom with the young buds. So something about that, like, because you spoke so much about nature and how it's really like life imitating nature, something like that. Yeah.
So in adolescence also, children will have mixed ages. They will be working in mixed ages only. And this is also like, based on experiential education, but slightly different. They have to live on the earth. They also should do some work on the earth so that they can understand the civilization in a better way. So this will prepare them for the next plane. Each plane of development prepares for the next plane, for the life. So when they are living on the earth, when they are producing something on the earth, growing something on the earth, they will see lot many difficulties which we have to pass through. They can see the life completely, and they can also, whatever the, suppose for example, if they have grown something, they can also see that like they can do like micro economic projects. They can sell those goods, and they can see all these business how it happens in the society. So all this is based on that experience. They will learn the knowledge. It's not especially these adolescent children. Montessori recommends to send these children to a farm school, because they need to live on the land, and they have to see the life, and they have to groom themselves, and they have to understand the civilization, how it evolved, how long time it took, and how many difficulties we have to pass through to do something. So to get them helped, how this society, how these different occupations or whatever businesses, everything, how are they happening, why, how else they can do if they grow big. So all these things, to give some idea up practically, they have to be living on the farm school. That is also a recommendation by Maria Montessori. So here they have to participate in their daily work. They have to do all the chores given, and they have to take up the responsibilities as well, because if they are living in the farm completely totally, they have to think about preparing food, taking care of the farm, and also doing the programs, academically planned programs. All these things should go parallelly. Nothing is bigger, nothing is like, more priority. Everything they have to do. So they have to learn living independently, and then taking up responsibility, and also sharing their work for others. So they have to start that. So they prepare food for not only for them. In first plane, we show them how to cut vegetables, or slowly we'll groom them in that. By second plane, they will be like guiding or doing something related to that, preparing sometimes the food, everything. Here completely they can take over the kitchen, and they can check the number of people who are eating, what they have to get. They can go buy things, everything they have to do by themselves. And these opportunities are so needed, because if we have to think about ourselves, how we all get educated, it's not from the books, right? It's by experiences. You and me, we may have different degrees, but what we learn is through our experiences. So when they have experiences, such experiences at the right time, they definitely will prosper in their life, whatever they are going to choose. We don't know, but pre-designing, parents or adults pre-designing their future is so detrimental for their development. So that's why, first of all, they have to be away from the home environment, because at this time there will be a lot of physical changes happening, and then if home environment is not supportive, there will be a lot of conflicts when the adolescent is there at home. We can notice these things at in different houses also. If you have an adolescent, it's really tough to handle, because they are very sensitive, so it's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah,
Experience is needed for them.
very beautiful, because I think there was a reason why ancient India, believed in the concept of gurukuls, why they believed that children at a young age, when they see the life of a monk, or life of hardships, of okay, maybe that's not the word, but life of being independent, I think, is more like the word. So that makes the child's foundation very strong, because then the child really knows what reality is, like you said, growing his own grain, able to eat, able to cook,
Yeah.
being able to take care of his own basic environment, basic needs. That is such a holistic development on so many levels. Actually, it's very intense, and it's very nourishing on a personality level. So that's really very beautiful. And it's very interesting how she came up. I mean, she's not an Indian, Maria Montessori, and it's so interesting that yet she came up with so many concepts that really match, our own ancient native belief systems. It's awesome. So tell me, Madhavi, any challenges that you face with your, with Montessori system, or with your profession?
Challenges, I have to say, sometimes I get challenges, especially from the parents, because they always are interested to know what are they writing and how are they reading. These two things are the most important things for them. They never ask about how are they doing socially or intellectual. I mean, only intellectual idea they want to know, whether they are writing or reading. This is the priority for them. This and they also will start suggesting us do like this, give homeworks, and so many things we get, so many suggestions we get from parents. But we give more time for our parents, so that they can get some understanding about this philosophy and why we are doing this way. And we spend a lot of time to educate the parents. So once if they travel with us, they will have trust in us, and they will understand the philosophy, and those questions will come down. But when parents are very new, it's very challenging.
Absolutely. It's understandable, because I think these non traditional educational systems are very challenging to the intellect, to the society also.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
like defying your pre established norms of how to educate a child. And yes, it can be very challenging when parents have not done their research and have opted for this kind of a methodology. I can completely understand it's not easy. So yeah, true.
And children, sometimes we took children from other schools as well. So that was very challenging. Our children, when they are from the beginning in a Montessori school, they are totally different. But these children also change, but it will take some time. But definitely there will be difference in these children and those children. But they definitely understand the freedom, and they feel happy to be in this Montessori environment, because they have experienced the other school and environment as well. So it takes time, but it will be very challenging for us teachers to help them in this way, because
Absolutely.
we have so much freedom. But our children know how to behave, because we have groomed them from the very beginning. But these children have come from another backgrounds, and they don't know. Sometimes they misuse the freedom. So to keep them in that periphery, it's very challenging to the teacher. Yeah.
True.
But we like that challenge, and we struggle to keep up the.
True. Also, I'm aware that Maria Montessori, when she started, I mean, I think even before her system got established, it actually started as a research on abnormal children, and then when she realized that when there was a test conducted between a set of normal children and her abnormal children, and it came out that the abnormal children performed better than the normal IQ children. So that's when she became sad and reflective, and then she actually designed the system that every child can perform better. So I'm really wondering if the system is actually also used for children who have attention difficulties, or who have hypertensions, or children who have understanding problems, and other adjustment difficulties. So is it also catering to those groups who are not able to acquire and pursue the normal traditional education systems?
Yes, in some environments there will be a couple of students who needs some support, especially in the primary environments, because yeah, she observed something is wrong with the education system, and that's when she started observing children, and that's when she realized there are some growth patterns and we have to support them appropriately. Then these children can become better. That's when she realized, and she continued that work also. So in some schools, they do take children with some challenges. It helps them. It helps them to a larger extent, but we can't take. It is not completely for them. That environment is for a normal child. So, but 1-2 children we can also take and help, especially in the primary, because all the activities are individual activities there. So if they overcome those difficulties, then they can go into other schools or elementary environment anywhere else. So yeah, some schools do help such children.
Okay, okay.
But Montessori schools are not for only problematic children, they are for normal children. Many people have this misconception, this idea like Montessori means it's for difficult children. When
Oh,
I did also, we were encountered with these kind of questions, because I said I started doing this Montessori course to help my daughter. So when I said this, somebody asked, "Oh, we are very sorry, your daughter is dyslexic." Something they were saying, psychological challenge. So I said, no, she's very normal. Yes, many people have this idea, but
okay.
Montessori education is for normal. They are doing for normal children.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Because also, one more thing that comes up very connected to this part of our discussion is that today, there's so much technology, and there's, I mean, the kind of exposure children have is so much more different from what we used to have 20 years back in our schooling. So definitely nowadays there is a growing number of cases of attention deficit disorders and retention disorders. I mean, a lot of like normal people going through these difficult situations in life, like people as in children. So how does Montessori cater to this? Because I think in traditional schooling, what I have normally noticed is that they just give you a discount of, okay, this year we exempt you from this exam. Okay, we will reduce your burden from 2 subjects to 3 1 subject or something like that. But in Montessori system, how do you cater to children who cannot pay attention for a long time, children who are not able to grasp naturally? What do you do? And this is like normal children, because
We do wait for them. We give so many yeah, yeah, we give presentations again and again. We don't just go by teacher will follow the child. If the child knows 1, then they can move to 2. If the child doesn't know 1, we stay there until they know that, and then we go. We don't correct in between. We want to teach them, we want to give them what the key is about, the concept is about. We do those lessons number of times to the children, so they get to hear those lessons again and again. So we That's when we say some children really they'll take just like that and they move on, and some children will struggle for some more time. That's okay. As long as they are taking, then we'll be giving. Even when you are feeding a child, how you do, you give one morsel, and when she chews it and when she swallows only, you can give another morsel. You can't just stuff because it is time for you to go, or you can't do that. Same thing, even psychologically we have to apply this idea, like one by one.
Right.
They take, somebody may just gulp and then they take more morsels. That doesn't mean like everybody will have the same thing. So we have to go according to the pace of the child and the interest also, and we have to give representations, and we have to somehow see to initiate some interest, like whatever the child is interested into, that we have to connect to that interest to foster their work. But we can't take everybody together, is little difficult.
Right.
They also learn from each other. So yes.
True. Right. So tell me, Madhavi, you've traveled so many times to the US, and you have seen Montessori schools there, and I'm sure your own daughter later on pursued in traditional schooling because there was no Montessori school beyond fourth standard. So you know how other schools operate, and especially children. Like my curiosity is more about how have you observed children in other countries performing, or like what is the difference that you see children in India and children there when you see, because you have traveled so much for your own trainings and you are from the educational background, so it definitely is close to your heart.
Yeah, children especially below 6 are almost the same. They all behave in the same way, and their home cultures and other society around them also will is different than us. It is
Right.
so that little bit of differences will be there, but children basically the ideas will be the same. The free expression. Even when I went to do orientation program, I stayed at Hershey's, and they there we used to get two children helping us for food. They used to get cook, and then they used to serve all these things. They used to help us with that all 3 times. So when I got a chance to just talk with them while cooking, we also will do along with the child, because it's not that child is doing and you are sitting. We do work side by side, and we have to work side by side. So when we work, we talk. And when I was chit chatting, and that girl was just like, I think 18 or 19-year-old, and she's finishing adolescent, and she's going into university studies, and she chose to do photography. And she was preparing for a skit, because university, for to apply to that university, they have asked this girl to shoot one small skit and send it. So she was doing research on how to make that, how to edit, how to shoot, how to edit, and she was writing the dialogues for everybody. She was acting and showing. She was so, she was doing at an ease, and she was so clear about what she's doing. That's so amazing. And another girl also said she was interested to do sciences, study in sciences, and she wants to become a nurse. So she was explaining why she wants to become a nurse, because she wants to do service to the society, and this is very sacred service. That's what she said. And I was so surprised. And these are children just 18, 19-year-olds, but very clear about their future and what they are going to do. When somebody is so clear, maybe situations sometimes will be difficult, but then also I think these children will always have that confidence and clarity in their life, and whatever happens they can move on towards the positive. That's what I feel. Even here children have different ideas and all. Even my daughter, who was just 18, wants to do so many things, and she's clear about what she wants to do, and these children will not get influenced from the outside, you know.
Yeah.
They listen to everything, then they will decide whether to go or not, and they won't feel scared to express it. They are very true and they can express it, and they express also in a polite, gentle way. If we are polite and gentle with them, they definitely express in that way. But
Right.
we can't expect our behavior in another way and their behavior only in an authoritatively. If we want to make them do something, adolescent children especially, you can't handle in that way. Definitely
Right.
they'll give you hard time. If I mean the adult has to feel so hard, it's very
True.
it's best to be like a friend to them.
True. True. So, last thing I want you to just share that any message that you'd like to give parents and other educationists who who must be who will be watching the video, anything that you'd like to share.
uh, every adult need to understand the child. A child, it is better if you start understanding your child when you are conceived. From that time, if you learn about the growth patterns, then you can be a better supporter or a caregiver or a better person. You can actually help the children. So try to read about development of the child and try to understand the children and support suitably. Don't think only carrots and sticks will help, but um, but only supporting as a friend, as just being a side, as a guide is enough. Montessori education is like a torch. We won't go along with the child. We only have to light that torch so that whatever they can see, that they can choose and they can go on. So we have to only sow the seeds. Montessori says sow the seeds in their mind. Whatever germinates, whatever become like strong, that will grow. It's okay. But sow the seeds as many as possible. So give them experiences, real experiences. mm, Make them, I mean, help them to be surrounded with nature. That's more important, I feel, as a person also, because I have experienced that in my life along with the children. Yes.
Right. Thank you
Do
so much for
Montessori courses.
yeah. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your experience of the system and so many wonderful things that we got to learn about the Montessori education system. And a few things were so beautiful about the Gurukul system, about nature, about uh, respecting the child's space. I think those are, the core things that I can take away from this conversation. So thank you so much for your time, and it was amazing.
Thank you so much, Purva, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much.